So a few months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, early 2026, the land was practically empty. There was nothing on it. And as of now, going into late June, the planting is almost done. The planting is about 90% done. Let's talk about the original plan of 1 acre. We've expanded now to 2.5 acres, and almost all 2.5 acres is planted. We had to, weed, and do a burn, and then let that settle before we started planting. Right now, what we have planted is we have maize, corn, which is planted on about 1 acre. We have cassava, which is our long crop. If maize is our short crop, and the harvest is coming for maize in about a month and a half, then cassava is our long crop. We have 0.15 or 0.2 acres of tomato and pepper planted. That's just experimental to see if the next rainy season, that's something that we want to go forward with. But that's still going to count in the profitability and harvest metric. And then we have ginger. And ginger is like our secret crop. It's not a short crop. It's going to take about 7 to 8 to 9 months for that to mature. And even with that, we're probably going to have to replant everything we got from the ginger based upon the fact that we weren't able to purchase enough ginger for all 1 additional acre that we had left. So those are our crop choices. That's what we're going forward with. That's what we're going to try to continue to build from this year all the way through the next year, right? So, when it comes to our profitability metric, we are taking all the rest of 2026, all the rest of 2027. We've crunched some numbers, and that's what we're gonna base our success on. About a full year and a half is what we're gonna base our success on. So we expanded because we knew that we can grow the maize, the corn, inexpensively, and use those short crops for about the next year and a half to bank some profits in order to then elevate ourselves to the next level. So that's the origin story. That's the expansion. That's the crop choices. And we decided to make ginger a focal point of ours, even though it's a high cost for it, because of the profitability margin. And just to dive a little bit more in on the ginger as we finish up why we have these crop choices, is that ginger prices have been rising in Ghana. Even since COVID, they had a huge spike, cooled back down, and now it's having a gradual rise. Whereas ginger used to be about 3,000 Ghana cedis per 80 kilogram bags, which is somewhere near 100 pounds. And it's gone from 3,000 cedis to now 6,000 to 8,000 cedis. You're looking at 500 to 700 US dollars for ginger. And so we were only able to buy 2.3 bags of ginger, and that only planted on about not even a quarter acre. So that's where we are with the ginger. It's going to be a slow grind. It's going to be a slow growth. But once we don't have to buy ginger anymore, and they have about a full acre of ginger, about 1.5 acres of ginger, we will be the providers going into 2027, 2028. Wherever the ginger prices are, we're going to be supplying that to the demand that not only Koforidra has, Accra has, but the general population of Ghana has. And in our previous video, we talked about the amazing structure that we were able to put together. And this is the benefit of living in Ghana, where we made the deal with the farmers that we're not paying you for labor. We may have to pay for clearing of the land and weedicide and things of that nature, things that just are going to cost to buy supply to take care of the land. But we're not paying too much for labor. So that helped us in terms of cutting costs, but we still need to buy the produce and we still need to pay for certain things. So our startup now is looking like about $3,000 US, which is not too bad for 2.5 acres. And that's the business side. Now we're in the phase that we have harvest coming up, calculating what our possible profit margin should be. And at the lowest level, going the year and a half, going to the end of 2027, at the low estimate, we're looking at about $20,000 in profit from ginger harvest in February of 2027. Our maize harvest, which we're going to have multiple every 4 months, we're going to have maize harvest. You put all that together, and we're looking about a low estimate of $20,000 from a startup that's about $3,000. These are rough numbers, and we'll dive more into them. But for the sake of not having this video be too long, that's the business end of it. On the goat end of things, we're doing a renovation. That'll be a separate update, and then the raised bed of things, we'll do an update. That'll be a separate one. So yeah, right now, profitability wise, like I said, we don't know if it's worth it, but overall the work that we've been putting in honestly has been worth it. It's been exciting. We've learned a lot. We've dove more into what farming looks like in Ghana, and it is tough. It's a tough business. I'm not gonna come here and say that it's easy, but it's been worth learning what it takes to feed an entire country, and the fact that Ghana isn't able to completely feed the entire country. We're still importing from different places, and because the prices are rising on different things, it's putting a bit of a strain. It's putting a bit of a strain on the culture. So we're coming in, we're playing a part, and the next update should be, oh my goodness, we have a harvest. Now that we have a harvest of maize, how much were we able to harvest? What was the loss of crop that just didn't make it? And what is the input expense for just the maize compared to the output, because we have to wait for the other crops. And so yeah, that's the update for now. And we're gonna continue to push this. We're going to continue to work and see where things go. But for now, the update we have now is that mostly everything is planted. Planting is about to be done. And now we're waiting on harvest and refocusing on the other parts of the business and getting ready to be actual farmers who sell to the market and see where that goes. So what do you think? What do you think so far? Does it seem like it's worth it? If you were to be starting a farm, on your end, what things would you do differently? What things made you change? What advice would you possibly have for us? Because we're still babies, we're still novices, in this game, and we're willing to take any advice that people have, and we're documenting it here because for anybody else that may be interested in doing this, or for anybody else that is already doing it that may have advice, we will take it. We are not experts. So yeah, hopefully in the next one we'll have some harvest to show, and we'll go from there. See you on the next one.